USSR tech tree is filled with great vehicles. We'll make a full plan of best, most optimal choices, which will bring you the greatest experience that this nation can deliver. In USSR roadmap, we'll check which lines to prioritize or skip, rank them by how effective they are at grinding, collect best setups for completionists, and solo vehicles for single-pick speedrunners. We'll start with rank 3 as rank 1 and 2 are already done and you can find them in the description. There's also a giveaway, just subscribe and type in your nickname in the description. Make sure it's me, I always hard comments. Also, there's a giveaway in the stream channel, so I mean just take the gold at this point, am I right? And we start with rank 3, where we have two anti-airs to choose from. ZSU-37 is basically an anti-tank vehicle. It's okay-ish for rank 2 setup if you're fighting against Germany, but if it's not Germany or BR is 4.0 or higher, then it literally becomes food for the enemy. Buy and skip it. The next one is BTR-152D, which is amazing anti-air, as it's the only vehicle I have infinite kill-death ratio with. Not great if used against tanks, although it can deal with some of them, but planes, I mean, you just absolutely shred them. Easy to use and damage output is phenomenal. SU-152 is good at 4.0, but don't take it to higher BRs as it has one strength that doesn't apply in up tiers, and it's armor, as this boy can definitely hit a shell or two from time to time. Meme cannon, it's fun aggressive vehicle, but there are better ones. Right below SU-152 is SU-85, which is a really solid tank destroyer. Great cannon with fast reload, phenomenal damage, and a bit of armor that might sometimes withstand a shot or two. A good grinding vehicle for guys that like tank destroyers. It also can be paired with ASU-57. This little guy is the cheekiest bastard you can meet. If you put bushes on this thing, you are certified pain in the ass, and by that you'll have a bit of fun. ASU-57 has a phenomenal cannon, which sometimes gets extremely inaccurate and might disappoint you with damage. Also, after getting a kill, dudes will definitely try to cry bomb you, so you better know how to hide well. This vehicle is good until it gets spotted, because then it's dead. Very annoying, fun vehicle, usable in big maps because it can't handle close combat that well. Very tactical vehicle, not good for grinding, but good for fun. ISU-152 is a normal vehicle, but definitely not worth the additional grind, so just skip and move on. KV-1 this guy is the absolute most dominant force if it gets to play against weaker or same level opponents, but it becomes food real fast in the upper tiers, so if you are cherry picking battles, then it's absolutely amazing. Otherwise, it's a 50-50, massive domination, or trying to pen Tiger Cupola from a mile away. That's why having T-3457 in this setup is great, as this guy is same BR, plus it has way more penetration and accuracy, which helps when it comes to Tigers and Panthers. T-3457 has absolutely no armor unless it gets to fight against same level opponents. Overall, it's a really solid good vehicle. Right after KV-1 ZIS-5, there's KV-85, which is one of the best vehicles in this rank, as it has great cannon which can deal with everyone it faces, great speed for a heavy tank, and good armor on the turret. Hull is a weak spot that you have to hide. KV-85 is a phenomenal grinding vehicle, definitely worth getting, but play it as if you have a medium tank in your hands, as lots of guys get used to original KV-1 armor, start pushing with KV-85 and die. To make this setup even spicier, there's SU-85M, which luckily for us is 5.0, where M stands for more Russian bias, please, as it has 75mm up front, which is angled at 52 degrees, making it 122mm up front times Russian bias and volumetricity modification makes it a solid 350mm on average. ISU-122, it has a good cannon, okay armor, great coaxial machine gun, but you don't need it at all, so it's a hard skip for guys that are speeding to the top tier. But if you want a full 5.3 setup and you're just enjoying the game, then it's definitely worth getting. PT-70 T-26B. Being also in 5.3 is the first tank with a solid stabilizer, which sounds insanely fun and OP, but it just doesn't deal any damage, as your main shells will be heat, which has good penetration, but you'll need to take 7 shots to end the guy, and by shooting this much, planes will spot you, and that makes you an easy to kill priority target. It's definitely not bad, but it is very situational and requires good map knowledge. And unless you have friends that are countering planes, you will literally get taken out by planes every 3 or so kills. T-3485D5T used to be the most popular Twink Smurf main vehicle, then after one update it got average, and now after the BR changes it got revived to a degree. So now T-3485D5T is a solid good vehicle that can definitely deliver, but it requires good knowledge of enemy weak spots, ability to flank, and great map awareness. Basically, this guy is great for experienced players, but for guys that just want to chill play, it will be just another average vehicle. Overall, most above average players have good statistics with it, and just because you're watching War Thunder tutorial vids, it automatically places you above average because average players don't really care about this stuff. So I think you can definitely try it and just check if it suits your gameplay. With around 10-20 matches, you should know. And the last guy is IS-1, which is a 5.7 BR and has a setup in higher rank, so it should be your last tank to unlock at rank 3. IS-1 is basically KB85 with more armor, but you'll have more issues with penetration as you use the same cannon, but all your opponents are now well armored. It's a good heavy tank, quite comfortable to play with, but I think you can skip 5.7 setup to save silver, and I'll explain why shortly. So rank 3 setups would be 4.3, consisting of SU-85 and ASU-57 plus BTR-152D as an anti-air vehicle, which is just a normal good solid setup, mainly based on playing with SU-85 and sometimes when you get a map with lots of hiding spots, having fun with ASU-57. You can try T-3457 combo with KV-1ZIS-5, but the effectiveness of this setup really depends on the day. It might be OP in the morning, but it might be horrible in the evening. It depends what BRs other players are playing on. Then the best priority setup would be KV-85, SU-85M, and BTR-152D. You can also sprinkle in T-3457 and ASU-57 into this setup as well. This combo will give you maximum versatility, which is ready for city maps, open land maps, gives you ability to flank play or snipe enemies if need be. I would use this setup specifically to unlock the full rank 4 setup that I want and only then jump over. You can also try T-3485D5T with PT-76B, ISU-122, and BTR. Because if you're like me and you like changing vehicles from time to time, then switching between these two setups will be very refreshing, but it will cost you a lot more silver. And for solo single pick speedrunners that want to save as much silver as possible, best options would be KV-85 or T-3485D5T. You can also try IS-1 because it's not bad, and SU-85 as well. Rank 4 is where you can skip a few traps and just a nice and juicy bombshells instead. Starting with BTR-ZD, which is a nice solid anti-air vehicle which can deal with planes but can't really do much to enemy tanks unless it's USA. Then with good positioning, you can definitely shred them. Or if you meet other anti-air vehicles, you also shred those to pieces as well. So you can definitely try it out because it's actually a pretty fun vehicle for close range or sniping planes. Really counters planes perfectly. At the same 5.7 BR, you can meet ISU-122S, which is a buy and skip tank, as it won't bring you anything new in terms of gameplay experience, and it's an average vehicle which can deliver, but you don't need it. And right under it is SU-100, which is a hard skip. You will not miss it at all. T-3485 at 5.7. Remember the previous T-3485D5T? Well, imagine playing it in higher BRs, just because why not make it harder for yourself? As this T-3485, just by being 5.7, will meet King Tigers, Ferdinands, Yak Tigers, T-26E5, T-34, and so on and so forth. And let me tell you something, as soon as they spot you, their 0.12 kill death ratio will start sending an instinctual signal, and just like every single cell organism, they will go straight for you with absolutely no awareness at all, killing you and then dying returning 1 second later. So basically, you do have to buy T-3485 to progress further, but I don't recommend playing it. Now, 6.3 setup is where it gets way more fun, starting with IS-2. Now, this is the boy we all know: good speed, great armor, massive damage with more than enough penetration, but the reload speed allows you to make a trip to the mall between every single shot, meaning that players who do well with it are careful not to overextend, and they play IS-2 as a tank destroyer, not a heavy tank, as IS-2 can fight 1v2 purely because of the reload speed. Yes, you might get lucky once and magical armor will save you for the entire 27 seconds of continuous fire, but that will happen once every 10 times. Usually you will need to fix your cannon after taking out the first guy, basically, and that means your next shot will happen after 33 seconds of repair, plus reloading cannon after the repair 27 seconds gives us a total of 1 minute downtime. I mean, if you can survive that long, it means you stumbled upon some exceptional people that just got, how would I say it nicely, unlucky? I would just let them kill me at this point. I'm surprised they managed to get into the battle to begin with. So IS-2 is good, but gameplay of a tank destroyer. ASU-85. This tank destroyer is extremely situational and is not recommended for single pick users. You instantly start with the best shell unlock, which is very good, beautiful reload speed, and this is the first guy to get a rangefinder. It's not a laser one, but it's more than enough, especially for 6.3 BR. Basically, ASU-85 is purely a long-range tank destroyer, but with close-range zoom, which is awkward. But on massive maps, I did have fun. For medium and close combat, it is absolutely useless piece of trash, so it's only good as a setup and for specific maps. ASU-100P, statistically, players do way better with this than ASU-85. Same battle rating, but a bit faster, bit longer reload speed, but a bit higher penetration. Has no rangefinder, but it has 3 massive benefits. Somewhat of a turret, which gives a bit of freedom, better zoom, which allows you to be more accurate while sniping enemies, and no armor, which, I mean, it means your survivability will be insane until you meet the first Cry Bomber on the enemy team, as he will 100% go for you because you're basically candy for planes, as Su-100P is completely open roof, big and easy to hit target. But there's a better tank destroyer, and we will get to him in just a second. 2S1 is a vehicle with a pure purpose of being researched, bought, and skipped, just so that you could get 2S3M a bit later. Now, 2S3M is one of my most favorite tank destroyers at 6.3. It's super fast, extremely mobile, has great cannon, which does require a little bit of skill to use, but it's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. Phenomenal clear zoom. Unlock 30F25 for tanks and 30F25PF for light tanks hiding behind a hill or planes. It's a great vehicle, but yet again, it suffers from planes. However, at this point, you should be dead inside enough to not care about it too much. And the last 6.3 that you should definitely have is M5359. You can literally eat up panthers with this guy, then shred a few planes, then get a shot of soul healing beverage, and repeat. It does require a bit of skill when it comes to taking out planes, but as soon as you touch them, you instantly knock them out by ripping off their entire wing. People underestimate the penetration of this thing and peek you by exposing their sides, and it's a free XP for us. Now we meet the last two 6.7s of rank 4, starting with IS-2 1944, and the question is, why do you need it when you already have played it at 6.3? If you want to waste silver, start unlocking repairs again, only to play in higher BRs, be my guest. It's not bad at all, but just buy and skip it. Classic T44, the next successful skip of the day. If you want to play with basically 5.3 T-3485 but at 6.7 BR, I mean, if you really like sniping weak spots, go ahead. It's a normal vehicle. If you're somewhat skilled, you can do well with it, but you will get tired of sweating and try-harding all the time. You're gonna meet mouse, and then your plan of actions will be limited to pressing escape and leaving the battle. There are so many better options, there's no point in choosing this one. By using rank 3 setups, unlock 2S3M, IS-2, M5359, and if you want, SU-100P or ASU-85 for long-range maps, where 2S3M and IS-2 will be your workhorse, main main grinders, and these two boys will go for big maps. Obviously, from this point onwards, you can start skipping the third line, as there will be only 2-3 good vehicles in that line, but it will take a lot of time and XP and silver to unlock them. So speedrunners, just skip it. For single pig guys, I suggest using 2 S3M, as it will give you the highest amount of XP and silver per hour. You can try S2 after getting tired of being bombed by planes all the time, but it will be slower XP purely because of reload. We got to rank 5. At this point, you got a taste of playing average or above average vehicles, and it's about time to touch something strong, something juicy, something that feels great and can bring new drops to your gameplay. And we begin with extremely underrated tank destroyer at 6.7 called Su-122-54. Oh my god, do I love this thing. Yes, it does require 2 healthy, fully functional brain cells to use because it has no turret. However, it compensates that by having absolutely phenomenal armor. 100mm up front, that's as much as T-54 in 8.0 BR, and we're 6.7 just saying. It has good speed, absolutely phenomenal KPVT machine guns, which shred planes and light armored vehicles, and you have 2 of them when Object 279 has 1. This boy has a great cannon, with your main shell being BR-471D for all tanks and 3PK-10 for mouse long range snipes. Oh, did I mention you have a rangefinder as well? And actually really good zoom for these BRs. For some city maps and close range maps, yeah, it's average, it's a tank destroyer after all, but for medium range maps or just maps that give you freedom of movement, it's unbelievable. It's a godsend for solo players. Even setup players can try it in 6.7 BR for sure. Okay, so now you might think that from now on everything else will be trash. Well, I got some great news for you, because we have quite a handful of insanely great and comfortable vehicles. ZSU-57-2, this guy is purely anti-tank vehicle. Don't shoot at planes with it, as you will just aggro them and they will get a free kill. However, all ground vehicles are sure as hell scared of you if you know your maps well. As soon as you unlock it, it will be borderline unplayable, absolute trash, but after unlocking BR-281U shells, it will become a tank shredder. This guy does require a lot of skill, as it doesn't really like going head-on against anyone. If you know your maps, one successful flank and you wipe half of the enemy team. The next guys on the list is Object 268. Now imagine Yak Tiger, right? Give it KPVT machine gun, make it faster, increase reload speed by a little bit, pop on a rangefinder, and send it to the playground after adding another 0.3 BR to it. In other words, this guy is really, and I mean really good. Very fun, unique gameplay. It's what you want from a game while playing heavy vehicles like this. Obviously no turns, so if you are the one driving over the corner and peeking, you're in trouble. But face to face, just meeting this guy is unbelievable. Yeah, whenever you get to fight against 8.0, all those ATGMs and heats will go straight through, dealing little damage, but it's still annoying. Amazing vehicle. Next guy brings you the best medium tank experience with insane versatility. This is a great learning medium tank. It has speed, it has great mobility, cannon that deals fantastic damage, has enough penetration to deal with pretty much everything, aiming speed is top tier MBT level, has a nice machine gun, but zoom it's somewhere between close medium range, so it's usable. This is the reason why you skip the classic T-44. It's because this one solves all the issues with a cannon. Definitely worth getting this guy. BR-412D as main shell for those who don't know. Don't use APCBC because it literally has less penetration and deals absolutely no damage. BTR-80 is either a hard skip or buy skip if you're planning to go through this route. It looks super fun, but the gameplay is like 5 rush insta-deaths and then 1 successful push. Just save silver for crew training. IS-3, the classic OG. While it's not even close to the previous vehicles we mentioned, according to Thunderskill, players do pretty well with it, as when it gets to the top, IS-3 is more than capable of bouncing a shot, but when you get to 8.3 and it's pretty popular BR, it becomes food really quick. I know IS-3 is history, it looks beautiful, but it's also old. You'll have to unlock it anyways. If you have silver, you can try it. If not, you just can skip it because it's a normal heavy tank. ZSU-37-2. It's a first series anti-air vehicle that can actually lock onto planes and assist you when it comes to taking them down. The thing is that assistant is definitely hammered, so you can't fully trust them, so you have to aim yourself. But to be honest, ZSU-37-2 doesn't really have anything much to protect in 7.7 setup. And from now on, pretty much every single anti-air in USSR tech tree is mostly focused on plane destruction. You absolutely can shred some tanks to pieces, but it will be a lot more challenging. So if you want that, go ahead and lock them, as there are pretty good ones. But if you want to progress faster through the game, you can skip them. BMP-1, absolute trash which deals no damage, skip it. IS-4M, this is the closest experience you can get to IS-6, absolutely insane armor depending on the BR you get, okay speed for a heavy tank, super long classic reload. If you like long reload speeds, then this tank is made for you. Place your shots well and one-shot the boys. It's sometimes really fun, especially when you're top dog, but when it's time for 8.7, oh boy, those fully stabilized darts will go straight through no problem, so it depends on the day. You can definitely try it. T-54-1947. It's good, bit heavier medium tank that can bounce a shot here and there. Out of all T-54s, this was the most comfortable in terms of battle rating. It's good, you can try it. A long time ago, it was the best, most dominant vehicle in game. T-54-1949 and T-54-1951. They both are pretty much the same. The earlier T-54 was way better. Even statistically on average, players do way better with 1947 than with the more modern ones. And that is because 9.0 battle rating is one of the most popular ones, so you're basically role-playing fish food for all the 9.0 boys. And the last rank 5 vehicle is Object 906. For the guys that actually decided to continue unlocking this part of the tech tree, here's your reward. 4.3 second reload for a cannon that is very nicely stabilized, has good penetration, great damaging shells in stock, and heats if you found something very heavily armored and can't seem to pen them. Very, very good light tank, but obviously planes love you. But definitely one of the best light tanks in game. So for setups, all you need is one full 7.0 ultra versatile, giving you completely different playstyles team of ZSU-57-2, T-44-100, and Object 268. Use this to unlock everything you need for rank 6 favorite setup. Don't be shy to get back to it from time to time, especially if you got tired of the top tier, as rank 6 will be a long grind and switching will be great for longevity and burnouts. Also, you can try out 7.7 setup of IS-4M, T-54-1947, and ZSU-37-2, as you might find it really enjoyable sometimes. I'm telling you, it feels great, but only when you get comfortable battle ratings. For single picks, you can definitely take ASU-122-54. T-44-100 is probably the most versatile choice to take. Object 268, great for relaxing and smashing guys, and Object 906, one of the best solo light tanks. Also, ZSU-57-2 is awesome. And now we're getting to rank 6, where you either suffer for very long time or actually enjoy the game with pretty good solid vehicles. Obviously, this is where the game becomes more challenging, so if you enjoy playing rank 5, unlock as many vehicles as you can by playing them. So the first guy we meet is ZSU-23-4, also known as Shilka. It looks cool and makes a lot of noise, but it's less effective than ZSU-57-2 because you won't be able to protect yourself from tanks, and ballistics aren't good enough to reach those pesky helicopter mains. It's good for only close flying planes. Buy and skip, or go full hard skip if you want to save time and get to the top tier faster. And the first great solid tank that we meet is T-10M. The trick for this vehicle is to play it as a medium tank. It's the closest thing that you can get to IS-7 for free. T-10M has absolutely amazing 2K PVT machine guns that can counter planes, shred helicopters, and light tanks to pieces. Also, cannon can absolutely destroy everyone. Use these shells for everything, as you don't need more penetration, as wherever you meet mouse, you can absolutely behead them with the main shells, as you have no problem penetrating them in the cheeks from more than 600 yards anyway. You do have armor that sometimes might save you, plus a very nice stabilizer. This guy can be your main choice when it comes to grinding out the entire rank 6 and 7. T-55A, absolutely great medium tank that will teach you about main battle tanks a lot. Has great APFSDS shell, and for more skilled guys, you can carry BR412D shell, which will one-shot pretty much everything, but you have to land your shots well. T-55A can definitely be one of your main workhorses when it comes to unlocking the entire tech tree. Very good and solid medium tank. Now, IT-1 on the other hand, used to be one of the most amazing ATGM carriers with unique gameplay, but after ATGM nerf is just not the same anymore. IT-1 has quite a bit of armor, but those ATGMs are kind of awkward to use. So you can try it, but I personally skip this entire line here altogether, as all the other options are not really worth getting. BMP2, not bad for a 3-pick vehicle, but there are way better options in the same VR. Usually guys on BMP2 just feed enemy opponents, buy, skip, or hard skip this guy. Now Object 685 on the other hand is a very, and I mean very good light tank. Great reload speed, phenomenal cannon, good movement speed and mobility, godlike reload for such cannon. This would be the vehicle you would want to get if you choose to take a slower route and not rush to the tops. But if you skipped it, then don't worry about it too much. Sturm S. Man, was I hyped to unlock this vehicle. I thought that I will be the most dominant god on massive maps with thermals. Turns out it can't even do that properly. The only thing that it is good at is destroying helicopters or planes. That is all. Close range, you're dead. Medium range, you're at a massive disadvantage. Camping, you still have to expose your soft body to get a shot, plus the awkward positioning of the ATGM will give you brain damage. But on top of all that, whenever you start driving with this thing, the rocket gets pulled down, canceling the ability to shoot, meaning if you drive, you dive straight to the death screen. Definitely skip this guy. Object 435. Well, it's just average medium tank, really. Guys have laser rangefinders at this BR, you don't. Guys have proper smokes, you don't, except for the engine smoke, but it's not really that great. PKVT machine gun is very nice to have. Good cannon, just a solid vehicle overall, nothing special. You can play it, have a bigger 8.7 setup, but skipping this guy won't change a thing. T-55AM-1, my most favorite, most loved medium tank ever. I even bought a talisman for it. That's how much I enjoyed playing with it. Fast, great shells, laser rangefinder, smokes, and a very nice hard kill system, which sometimes save you from helicopters. Martyrs and Bradleys become food for you, as there's nothing they can do except for spray and pray to break your cannon. You have to position yourself correctly with it and then just destroy the boys left and right. Maybe I'm biased, but I love this vehicle. Phenomenal workhorse for unlocking the entire tech tree. T-62. For some reason, I really love how it looks. To be honest, T-62 is pretty much the same vehicle as Object 435 in terms of gameplay. No laser rangefinder, weak damage, but okayish penetration. The only difference between Object 435 and T-62 is the looks. T-62 doesn't have KPVT machine gun, but has a bit more armor on the turret. If you're building 8.7 setup to T-55AM-1, I would take Object 435 personally. Now, T-62M1 at 9.0 has pretty much everything. Great shells, laser rangefinder, smokes, even has skirts for extra fashion. Are they effective? Yes, for your enemy, as they can spot you a bit better. Lots of composite armor on the face, which saves you from guys that are playing stock vehicles with heat shells or APDS shells. Plus, it soaks up a bit of damage as well, so it's less of armor buff and more of a survivability boost, which evaporates with the first APFSDS shells that goes through. Not a bad vehicle, but it is an unnecessary unlock in a way, so you can just hard skip it if you want. And the next guy on the list is BMP3, a great addition to already extremely skippable T-62M1. You absolutely don't need it. It's not bad for second to third pick vehicle, but it's not good either. But you can do well with it at the end of the match. It is more effective than BMP2 for sure. A very nice XP and silver save for the guy speedrunning through, and another below average unlock for completionists. And now we move towards the 9.3. I was looking forward to finally getting my hands on T-64A, but but then suddenly I realized that it's just another below average vehicle that, apart from being classic, has nothing else to offer. You buy it and you skip it unless you're eager to get that 9.3 setup for some overhyped reason, or you just want to touch that vehicle because it looks cool and stuff. But before you do that, get some soap because you're about to touch some natural fertilizer. Is it playable? Yes. Can you get 5 kills after feeding for 10 matches straight? Yes. Is it good at defense and camping? Absolutely. Is it good at anything else? And that is a no. Statistically, most players absolutely suck with T-64A, so skip it. Now, T-72A. After T-64A pacifist gameplay, I was ready for some extra stank from T-72A, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that good either. Guys that are camping and playing very defensively will for sure say it's good because it does well at that. Again, it's not good at attacking because T-72 doesn't have good reverse speed. On average, statistically, people don't perform that well with T-72 either. Object 775, also known as Pancake. Some people love it, some people hate it. I am biased and I really like it because reload speed is great. Refill speed is a blessing. Extra degrees for vertical guidance can be obtained from lifting them cheeks. Surprisingly, sometimes bouncy shots because it's just that well angled. The thing is, from close range you have to aim as if you're about to go for a 900-yard shot, pretty much here. And as your rocket goes, just pull your sight down on target. It does require time to get used to it, but whenever you get comfortable with it, you'll find it really nice to play. The issue is that to unlock Object 775, you'll need to research and buy these two previous, Mr. and Mrs. Useless, so it's really up to you. 2S25 wasn't bad at all. It's just absolutely crazy how mobile it is. Great speed, good cannon, but massive as in size with no survivability, and being tall makes vertical guidance a pretty noticeable issue. Overall, I liked it. If you're careful, then it's pretty good. Still, it won't bring you the same amazing experience that Object 685 would, so you can skip it for sure. It's not bad. And the last 6th ranked vehicle, T-64B, which unlike T-64A is actually playable. This guy has armor, better shells, laser rangefinder for those long-range high-explosive shell snipes. These shells have pretty much the same amount of explosive as KB2, so yeah, very usable. Actually good defensive vehicle. ZSU-23-4M4, which is Shilka but with extra juicy SAMs mounted. If you decide to play with 9.3 setup, then take it, as these rockets require 0 brainpower to use, as all you have to do is lock and send them. For all close rush helicopters, you got the 4 shredders, so problem solved, but it can't do much against tanks. Use rank 6 favorite setups to unlock as many vehicles as you can to at least start with a full setup and skip as much trash as possible. And when you'll start feeling brain damage kicking in, then jump over. 8.3 setup of T10M and T55A, you can take ZSU-37 too for the planes, but it's not necessary. This is one of the best setups to use, great for grinding. There's also a very nice setup in 8.7 BR consisting of T55AMD, Object 435, and T62. Plus, if you went the light tank route, you can send in the Object 685. Main vehicles that will grind it out for you here is T55AMD and Object 685, as they should be your first picks. For single pick speedrunners, great options would be T55, T55AMD1, Object 685, and T10M. Pre-last rank 7. Only 10 vehicles before endgame experience, you can already smell the stank of spotliners from right over here. And man, it hits you good. And so we start with Chrysanthema, which has a radar for ground units, great thermals paired with engine smoke for some extra cheese, locks onto guys through their smoke, can shoot multiple dudes at the same time, and with all that, it's absolute pile of trash and massive waste of XP because now you have to peek with your entire body to get the ability to aim or go full third person. It's absolutely not worth getting, no setup for it, it's not what it used to be, trash, throw it there. Strela 10M2. Do you just like to turn off your brain completely and get the easiest kills, which requires absolutely no game knowledge or skill at all? Literally, Strela gameplay is spawning in, click 4 by default, click mouse when locked, get a frag, rinse and repeat. It's just that. It's insanely absolutely absolutely broken as hell against planes and helis, but it can't do absolutely anything against tanks. So you need friends, which we all definitely have, right? It's great for plane kills, but very low XP per hour, so if you skip this line, then you just saved yourself some speed. T-72B and T-72B 1989, pretty much the same tank. Biggest benefit is that they can withstand DM-23 to the upper hull, unlike Turms. But if you angle, you die. Enemies are all faster than you, so pure defensive vehicle. You'll still need to unlock T-72B to get to the T-90M, so buy it and most likely skip it unless you farmed insane amounts of silver before and you just really want to try them out. The 1989 one is just a pure skip. 2S25M, the absolute camping light tank that hates aggression and uneven maps. Incredibly mobile, great speed, normal cannon with endgame shell, but cannon lifting speed is as fast as the entire War Thunder ground vehicle progression as a free-to-play player, meaning it takes ages, centuries even. And vertical aiming speed gets you killed so often it's not even funny. If you were aiming at a helicopter for a minute, forget about enemy tanks, you're an anti-air for the entire rest of the match. Skip it, you won't need it. And now we get to the first normal, usable tank in this tier, the T-80B. 10.3, so it feels a bit lonely unless you have Moderna, but for all us mere mortals, T-80B it is. Fast, aggressive, great turning rate, great reload speed, looks good, finally has some reverse speed, good horizontal aiming speed, still tier 1 T26 like vertical aiming speed, has thermals, engine smoke, all the good stuff. It can tank a shell from time to time as well. This tank is a no-brainer to get, the main guy to help you with the grinder. It's literally that good. 2S6, most of you will skip this anyways, or if you have Strela, you don't really even need this. It's great anti-air, but you actually need half of a brain cell to make it work because you have to aim at the enemies yourself if you want max efficiency, of course. So yeah, rockets for planes and helis, cannons for Second World War propeller planes, and maybe very light tanks. It's probably the very last thing you want to unlock. Good old T-90A. You're gonna start meeting some top tier boys and it won't be fun, but as long as you get to meet the same BR guys, then you smacking them boys. Cause armor on T-90, it can withstand some hardcore mental damage and it won't even need to hit therapy session after. But if you angle the 90 just a tiny bit, the things will pass through no probs, loading the death replay. Again, it's the defensive route. T-90A, good at holding positions, not that great for rushes. If you're not planning to die after getting 1-2 kills, of course. It's not horrible depending on the day, but I personally skipped it and went straight for the big boy called T-80U. Now this boy's just slapping. Very good speed, good reload, sometimes tanks a shot. You will be using this as your second or third pick tank for the rest of your life now, unless you unlock T-80UK with squadron points and now have a setup. Very versatile vehicle, still horrible vertical guidance, but very good zoom, and ballistics are just laser level. T-72B3, continuing the defensive route with another armored dude that has no reverse speed. Nothing special kind of vehicle unless you're holding that D point. In that case, it's actually not bad at all. So for more passive, careful guys, this is not a bad option. Overall, rank 7 is where you choose either defense or attack or both. There are no big setups anymore except for poor man's setup of T-80B and T-72 and Strela, or the T-80U plus T-72B3 setup. Actually, that's all you need at this point. For single tank speedrunners, definitely go for T-80B and then T-80U. Highest XP per hour, just use T-80s to unlock the tops. That's it. It's gonna be a long grind, but you're super close at this point. And now, the last top end game boys that took forever to get, rank 8. Starting with Panzer S. Do you hate planes? Well, this guy was modeled by a dude that got bombed 10 matches in a row. And let me tell you something, Panzer can literally spawn camp planes. That's how OP and good it is. You basically have the Minecraft command for /kill planes. Not great against tanks, but everything that is floating above the ground about to see a massive missile coming their way. Very OP, very strong, very good. T-90M. Ah, the smell of Spalliner is here, and so is the survivability. basically is the top of the food chain in terms of defending and holding positions. Slow reload speed is annoying, but aiming speed, zoom, thermals, armor, all of that is top tier amazing. The one thing that is absolutely horrible is reverse speed, and it's extremely important, plus not the greatest vertical guidance, but it's fine, you'll be used to it by now. And the last, but absolutely not least, T-80 BBM, the Skooma Crackhead Eye Attack, and I think later type of vehicle. Great armor, insane speed, great thermals, great reload speed, just everything about this vehicle is great. It's just gold. One of my most favorite aggressive top tiers in game for sure. So basically for setup guys, three things. You have attack tank, you have defense tank, you have I absolutely hate planes tank. Kind of, it's not really a tank, is it? Now you know about every single USSR vehicle. Congratulations, you are now an expert of USSR tech read. Also, 2 giveaways on both channels. Just subscribe and write a comment with your in-game nickname. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do.